live, it might take a few minutes for someone actually to join. If you haven't shared the link, you can share. I'm going to retweet it once again.
Yeah, I tweeted you out there, buddy. Yeah. See how busy crypto Twitter is today. Is there any drama today? Usually there's a bit of drama.
I started the drama by mistake. I think so. I think I have, which is sometimes I want to make a joke, but it doesn't work. You know, it's like, and I start the drama, which is like I don't have bad intention.
It's hard because we've got such a worldwide sort of a worldwide crypto ecosystem, and the language barriers do like cross wires sometimes. Some people say some things and I pick them up completely wrong. God knows what people think I'm saying, but
nobody can understand you, so nobody knows really. You can offend people; they won't notice.
I get away with murder.
When Highlander types, you can get it, but when he talks, it's like flying above the head, right? But the entertainment value is in the accent, right? So the drama I started because CryptoCito just tweeted that he's gonna have interview with Jay Cardano. And I have messaged Jake quite sometimes, actually, like going back to 2021 when the Juno launched. I was already messaging Jake Cardinal, and he had promised me he will come. And then I see that Jake Cardinal going to first was Liam. And now I see him going to CryptoCito, but he never comes to me. So I said, fuck you.
I've just read your tweet, man. That's fucking ruthless. That's funny.
Yeah, so I guess it maybe people don't take it as a joke.
No, I think no. I disagree now, Don. I think people get you. People get what you're all about now, and I think it's quite funny now. At first, I was like, "Who's this fucking guy, man?" And then it's like we get to know you. It's like he's actually pretty cool, man. Honestly.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. You know, like the thing I don't bite. You know, I just want to talk, and this is the way of me being. But with the Jake also, I don't want to have him on anymore. Like
Jake's lovely, man. Honestly, Jake's a cool guy, man. Can't say enough about him, man. He's great.
It's my favorite person in Juno, and that's why it's even more painful to me that he's going to everyone else, but like not to me, because I like him, I respect him. He spoke to me in Prague. He's like super nice guy. He explained everything. When he speak, you want to hug him, but then he avoids me. Like it's really like the pain that I have here. So I'm gonna befriend everyone else from DAO. I will have everyone on from DAO team, but I will never have Jake on. That's the mission now.
Cancel all DAOs.
Yeah. So by the way, the time is unfortunate because we are in European time.
It's all good, man.
But it's gonna stay, you know, and we are going to learn about what you're doing. So once again, I'm with Highlander and with the Simon, which I'm really happy to have because Simon is a fellow Polish man. And I'm very excited because I saw some Polish people within the Juno community, but I have not seen the Polish people within the people who build anything actually. So but I will leave you, Simon. So Highlander, by the way, where exactly are you from in Scotland?
17 miles north of Glasgow, a little place
right
just outside Loch Lomond, big massive lake
Right.
in Scotland. And I was there until about 10 years ago. I did a degree in audio production, so became a sound engineer and moved to Manchester, where there was obviously more of a gig industry. Worked with a massive company down there until
Right.
COVID-19 tore us all apart. And now I'm based in Manchester, and yeah, the rest is history. What I'm up to now, I suppose.
Oh, so you're not staying in Scotland right now?
No, based in
Right.
Manchester now. Yeah,
Right.
moved here 10 years ago. Obviously,
I've been.
I'm not going to
Mhm.
change my accent.
Yeah. No, I do really like Scottish accent. I've been I think twice to Edinburgh, like
Oh,
nowhere
it's beautiful.
else in Scotland. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do love Edinburgh. It was when I used to live in the UK. Did you start your adventure, like, could we call it this way, with like crypto from Juno, or was it before?
I'm a kind of how do I put it? A kind of one-time 2017 investor, where I kind of doubled my money and kind of got out, because it felt like gambling at the time to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't really. I didn't know about blockchain. I didn't know fuck all. So I took my money and escaped unscathed. And yeah, it was. I got a friend in Spain who's really big on it as well, and but he's a bit of like I was just too busy with my normal job, I just didn't listen. But I managed to buy in this bull run quite early, and kind of COVID kicked in, and I thought, and then it was like Chat of Juno happening, and kind of all just rolled into this, like, I've got a choice now. Do I stick with the old career, or do I just keep continuing to try and get, because I'm a bit of a creative guy. I like to try and build stuff, and I thought
Yeah.
I'm enjoying learning how to code. I'm learning all that kind of thing, and I thought I'm 2 years in now, and I thought I'm not going to quit now, and like I'm going to stick at it for another 3 years and actually try and become a software engineer, really, I suppose. And yeah, we'll see what happens down the line. I'm only 35, so we've still got days of going back to mixing desks and filling stadiums and putting sound in there, and because that's a great job as well, but it doesn't pay for the slave labor that you have to do, I suppose.
Could you tell me what was your investment in 2017? Because I was also there and I didn't go out.
Bitcoin, like 300 quid. Just watched it fucking double, or a double and a little bit more. And
Yeah.
and I didn't have much money at the time, but at the time it was like, fucking, that's brilliant, Yeah.
So
that was me thinking
back then. Yeah, back then I turned like over $1,000. Luckily, I didn't have more money into $30. So I was looking at Bitcoin going from 1,000 to like 20,000, and then when Bitcoin hit 20,000, I'll start buying altcoins. Which obviously crashed, and I pretty much left till like early 2020, and it was like very good timing to go it. So you said you are not developer, you are creative guy, you are the sound engineer, and you learned yourself tech, right? You learned yourself how to be validator as well.
Yeah, I didn't learn myself. Simon taught me. Like, I knew with the Juno test nets and stuff like that, you've got some great validators who help each other out. I didn't know how to log on to a fucking server. Honest to God, I was that bad.
Yeah.
But perseverance, asking the right questions, and then you get a test net going. You start breaking stuff. You start, this is like, this is going back a little bit now, like so. And eventually, Simon's we got chatted on some other networks, and he's just showing us how to streamline builds properly, nice and smooth and methodical. So that's a word I like to use. And yes, that plus
Mm-hmm.
learning code as well, and obviously I think my strong points are networking, actually
Mm-hmm.
going to chat to people and bringing people into the network and explaining what Juno does or what Cosmos does.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it seems to be working so
That,
far.
that's really that's really interesting. So like you had no background and you jumped to Juno, like,
Yeah.
and become because you were friends with Simon, right? And it was Simon who gave you this idea. Hey, let's be a validator, or it was
No,
your idea. How you get even
I was
introduced to
I
Juno?
was
Like
all
that's something.
well. It goes back to when SG1 had a Medium document
Hmm.
out, and it told you and explained to you about what staking was in the
Hmm.
Cosmos ecosystem and what a validator is. And my good friend who is Tobias, and Wolf as well. I've known them for quite some time. Tobias taught me quite a lot in terms of how to set things up and kind of held my hand quite a lot. And then once I gathered enough knowledge to sort of go on my own sort of path and learn myself, because that's the only way you can learn. That's when I started getting familiar with other networks, bumping into Simon. And then we always had this little chat of maybe we could join forces or something. It'd be quite cool because I think I can do like a bit of the networking and marketing side
Hmm.
on top of having a few chains quite high up on Juno. Um, and yeah, just it's quite a bit of a new venture for us at the moment, but we're enjoying it, and I think a lot more things are getting done
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
on your own, I don't know how he does it with the amount of chains he's got, like, and it's beyond me. But it's nice that we've actually got a nice website running. We've got a little application that we're in the process of building.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So
we're getting stuff done. It's nice
so
feeling.
so the Simon, you were already like you were already validator, right? Before the Highlander came to validating. So was it like you were his partner? And where what did you have other node on the Juno as well?
Not on the Juno at the time. At the time, actually validating, let's say, adventure, I started from Sentinel Network. That was my first
Right.
validator, which I went through. We had like 1 year of testnet with Sentinel, which I moved
Hmm.
from master nodes. Before I was running master nodes, and before that I
Right.
was also mining and stuff like that. And then basically I was just actually participating in different testnets. So we
Hmm.
just built infrastructure. At the time, it was really not incentivized. So it was like, oh, let's build something, let's test it, let's see how it goes. Then it became this madness of incentivized testnet, and everyone's like, yeah, I don't know how to install Linux, but I will become a validator, I will earn millions within a week. That's how it goes now. But at the time, it was more like really collaboration. So all the people actually participating in a testnet were actively participating in it. If you didn't know something, you just throw the question. You had technical people helping you, and that's how we bump on each other, really. So we've been just running the validator, configuring the system, and then I had Highlander, and he was like, okay, how to do this, how to do that, and then we started actually exchanging information. So he got his technical skills up, and then also documenting actually, because now I have
Mm-hmm.
IT background, but as a proper IT person, I never had a proper notes, right? So I got
Hmm.
total mess
Yeah.
in the files and everything. So Highlander was actually this part of consolidating all the information. I was able to actually throw out some output saying, oh, that's the way it should be. That's the commands. That's how you do it. And he is just putting this into the proper form of the documentation. And that's how that evolved, actually. And at some
Hmm.
point, we just came with the idea, let's register domain chaintools.tech and we see what happens. And that's basically what happens.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like because I didn't know. I thought actually
Mhm,
Highlander is a very very experienced person because I'm not I always say I'm non-tech person and I
mhm.
didn't pull myself together to actually learn yet. And I'm open about, like, I come from creative background, from retouching industry, and I never was really interested in like getting into programming. I'm not saying no, but I wouldn't like to waste my time on that because I enjoy more of like the doing what I do right now. I
Mhm.
Yeah.
probably should be maybe more correct with the communication and not leaving the tweets that leave people confused sometimes. So to actually build more trust. By the way, the Highlander was one of the first validators I delegated to on Juno. I think with the
and why did you do that? May I ask?
So I don't know, the logo and
Active in
the
the
name
community, talking to people, just like
like
getting to know people
that
and
was too,
building
but this
trust.
was
I
that was
think
the
it's very
number of
important.
like I tried to search, and
Yes.
there is this guy in the middle of the set, so like I
Yeah.
didn't want to put everything. I actually delegated some to SG1 as well
Yeah.
there, and I chosen few others, and Highlander was among there. So I said, yeah, logo and the name, but I saw you on Twitter too, because it was very important. I had to search for the media, right? And it
Yeah.
was there, and I saw you in these early days of on the Twitter. I saw the logo on the Twitter. I recognized the logo, and I decided to delegate to you and few others, right? That was not visible.
Thank you very
And
much.
over time you climbed more, right? I'm not delegated to you anymore because someone does manage my node. I'm trying to support
Of
myself,
course.
but you were among the ones I was delegating, like I didn't know anything, but you were visible there. um and some others actually, like I even I delegated to another active which I saw both of you, which was easy staking,
Yeah.
which
Zach. Yeah.
banned me later on Twitter
Mhm.
because I have
Oh, he's
disagreement with
banned. He's banned me as well. I think he just bans everybody.
which was like, I liked it because I didn't know, because it was at this moment it was not political space, right? So you didn't know like the how people are, and it was like, hey, they are active, I'm delegating to these guys, but once the
Yeah.
Juno become more political, we divided with opinions, like some people just simply ban you on Twitter. So yeah, I'm not delegating to him anywhere anymore, but that
He's
was
actually
the
quite cool, Zach. He's a very knowledgeable validator, and yeah, he's
uh,
built some stuff on Juno. It's great, man. Competition is good and it's healthy,
yeah,
and I just like having a laugh like yourself. I try not to take things too serious.
Mhm.
It's the way to
yeah,
be.
like I did hear he's like very knowledgeable, right?
Yes, of
So
course.
he banned me short. Like I think I made a joke. I think it was another bad joke of mine when I was on the live chat with Jacob, and I said on the live chat, and delegate from easy staking and delegate to notional. And then he started saying on Twitter like that I'm toxic or stuff like this, but it wasn't like serious, right? But I get
Yeah,
that. I get that. I would
I love
assume
the
maybe, yeah.
I love the chats you have with Jacob, man. He's one of my favorite guys, man. He's wicked. He's such a character, man. I've got a lot of time for Jacob, and I like what you do with him. And that's what made me like you more when he sort of like had that chat with you and, about you and Wolf, and it was just like,
Mhm.
how about doing it this way? And I just thought, brilliant, just the nice little sort of helping the situation out. And there's
Yeah.
loads going on. I've not even looked into what is going on at the moment on Twitter with. Do you know much about it or what's happening in terms of all the big arguments that I'm seeing at the moment? I've not got the time to read through everything you see, but it looks quite
So
interesting.
I want to say, like, maybe you are similar in the ways that we are able to do networking, because when I started the first interview with Jacob, I barely understood what he's talking about during the interview. That was he- Jacob has the tendencies of going to some subjects like I wasn't that deep,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
but we become friendly. I learned a lot, and it gave me exposure. It probably gave him some exposure, and as of now, like, I got so much opportunities to speak to the people like you, people from DAO and others that start
yeah,
noticing me. They didn't want to talk to me, and I consider them like kind of friends. I don't know them, like my Twitter friends, right? They're like, and they make me feel like I'm part of this company, or whatever you can call it. So I feel I'm actually could be useful in the ecosystem, maybe trying to avoid some drama. Of course, there's people who don't like me, there are people whom I don't like, but it's not like that I believe they shouldn't exist, right? Like we need to have different opinions and the diversified community within that. So there is always some drama, but you also have to have distance, right? Like um maybe people think I'm all that serious, but I close the Twitter and I go out and meet my friends, and I have other life. And the way you are on Twitter meant to be to give you maybe more exposure, and this you can later use to bring something valuable, right? So sometimes I made that video about DAO recently. No one would watch that video if I would say I show you how to make DAO. Like no one would watch that. So I did
Interesting
this
thought.
together with I used the address of Wolf and Takumi, because that made people click on it. And if there is two people who will
Genius.
decide to make DAO from this, right? It will be positive. And I don't think I offend anyone in this video, but from the people believe I would offend in the video, they watch that.
I
And
think it
and
was a
that
good educational video. What you did, you showed the DApp, but you went through the process and you created a
yeah.
DAO, and I thought he's done pretty great with that. I went through the process myself and found it very, very slick. And I think it's is it? I mean, I'm obviously biased to Juno Tools because I love Juno Tools, but it could be the best Juno DApp built DAO without a doubt.
Let's speak on Juno Tools. Regarding that video, I think it still was too long. So I'd love to, you can do actually 3 minutes video, create a DAO in 3 minutes. And you don't do any opinion, but you do just tutorial. Go here, go here, go here, go here. And that would be probably even more useful. But this is maybe someone could come and do this because I do different sort of content. So
It's great.
so before we jump to ChainTools, I want to know more about Simon. If you can disclose where you're based, if you're in UK or Poland, or you don't, if you don't have to. And how did you actually get into blockchain, and on how many chains are you?
Let's start from the beginning location. I am based in Poland, basically. At the moment, I used to live for a number of years in Ireland, in Dublin. So that was interesting adventure. How I got into blockchain, that is actually interesting because I got into blockchain in 2013, first time, when you were able to mine Bitcoin with a little tiny USB miner, which was heating up to 120 degrees, like warming the whole environment around and stuff like that. Even, that the miners were even that tiny. But I treated this more like the technology kind of novelty, kind of like, oh yeah, it's cool. I didn't look from the profit perspective on this. So I was poking around with this, then abandoned it for a few years, came back around 2016, 2017. I caught up on this hype in 2017, a lot of airdrops. And from there, I just looked into mining as well, but also on the masternode side. So at the time, there was no validators, only few chains had this type of construct as we see today. You had more popular were actually masternodes. It was similar concept, but basically you need to deposit only a certain amount of money. You couldn't actually delegate and stuff like that. So it was purely profiting for masternodes operator, not for other people wanting to participate. But that was, you could see that from the beginning that was destined to die, really, this model. It was not scalable and basically very, very prone to even dump, because you could dismount masternode in seconds and dump the coins and stuff like that. So that evolved in validators later on. And that's how it actually started then with Cosmos ecosystem. For some reason, basically, I started actually participating in a Sentinel testnet. And I just built this validator first thing. And I was looking like, oh, that's interesting concept. It looks different. Let's poke around with this. We went through actually few testnets within a year, really. It was a year, without even knowing what will be the outcome of it eventually. And today we have actually working chain. We have exit nodes for the DVPN and stuff like that. And that was the first chain. After that, I started poking around in the Cosmos ecosystem and other ecosystems, and Cosmos has potential really because you can build more validators. As I have IT background in the IT infrastructure, it was interesting for me as well from the technology perspective. So I got servers, I can monitor them, I can put them in the cloud, provide redundancy, stuff like that. So I started actually multiplying those. At the moment, as a ChainTools, we got jointly 27 chains in our portfolio. In some of the chains here, we are closer to the top. In some of the chains, we are almost at the bottom. But still, we're validating 27 chains, for which we have primary infrastructure for the validators and also backup nodes for other validators. We got infrastructure divided across at least 3 actually hosting providers for redundancy. So in case something happens, we are always able to move stuff. And from validators, of course, natural move was actually to jump onto other services. So we're running also relayers, allowing actually cross-chain communication. We actually running at the moment RPC API endpoints. That is something to be announced yet for which chains, but we got also about 10 chains in the portfolio at the moment ready to be published. We also have infrastructure prepared for the state sync for over 10 chains at the moment, really. So we're getting ready to do that. And as a ChainTools, we start actually deploying stuff like our own Explorer, which shows basically chains we validate, plus Cosmos chain as the main chain of the ecosystem. And through that Explorer, you can also delegate to our validators. They always highlighted at the top of each chain, for example. Then we start moving onto a little bit of a development. So we are in the process of writing our own Discord bot with chain functionality. We have some web applications for calculating stuff for other chains, not Cosmos-based as well, because we are present there as well. And a part of the validators, relayers, and core chain infrastructure, also we deliver actually side services. Like for the Sentinel, we're running around, at the moment, around 20 actually exit DVPN nodes. This is also part of our commitment for the ecosystem. As we have delegation from the project, we're delivering this type of services. So yeah, that's basically how that started, like in 2013, and that's where we are today.
I want to ask you because you said you rent in three servers. Like,
no,
are they
much more? Three hosting providers. So I mean, like
3 hosting.
Yeah.
So let's say your Juno node, it has three different hosting providers, right? Like, or it has 1 and 2 are used. Are they continuously rented as the backup?
Yes.
So that adds a lot of expenses to you, right?
Well, yes, but you have to calculate that, of course. And sometimes some actually chains are not profitable, and other chains compensate for that. But in that model, really, regardless if I'm on the top of the list or at the bottom of the list, if I decided to validate, I need to provide the infrastructure, right? So basically, that's the model we have. And we have at least 1 backup node for each chain will host it on the server with the different providers. But in total, at the moment, I think we will be aiming for around 12 to 15 physical boxes and around, I think, 20 to 30 VPS, virtual servers, we have in the infrastructure. So it will be really like in the ballpark of 50 to 60 machines running.
Yeah.
So you are building like a big company where you have your own physical bare metal boxes with the backups in the server providers, right? So like that's can you tell me what's the dangers with just having physical boxes? Because there is a lot of talk, maybe like Jacob urged everyone that like, hey, you should run the validator at home. What are the challenges of that, and what would be difficult doing that? Yeah,
I run an Ethereum validator at home. It's just a little standalone box, and it just sits there and heats my fucking living room up every night.
Well, that's savings on the heating.
So you know, I'm not a fan of bringing in 10 servers, especially the missus would be like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" You
Yeah,
know, it's like,
yeah.
get that
Exactly,
out of here.
exactly. Well,
But yeah,
there are pros and cons really, because if you look from the data center perspective, you got multiple internet and bandwidth providers. So in case one goes down, actually, data center provider can actually switch you to another
Hmm.
internet pipe. That's the advantage of a data center. The danger of the data center is basically like everything in the cloud, not your server, not your data on it, right? You're
Hmm.
not the owner. So at any point in time, someone can actually steal the physical server, get access to the disks. You can encrypt them, of course, that will actually make it more difficult. If you use hardware keys for a validator in someone else's data center, someone can actually tamper with a physical key and steal it even. So that's the danger of that. Go in that direction. Running everything at home, of course, you have everything under the control, but you need to keep in mind that it might actually set the server on fire at some point. It might actually break your internet line. It's not the same grade of internet line as you have in a data center. If you
yeah,
Hmm.
start providing the same level of
Yeah.
redundancy, it will be enormous cost. That's why we choose actually hybrid model. And also actually we can go into the discussion physical server versus virtual server,
Hmm.
which is I'm not a fan of either of those 100%. I would say you can split the infrastructure and host systems the same efficiently on the virtual machine like on the physical box,
Hmm.
because you can assign certain amount of resources to virtual server,
Hmm.
while virtuality gives you actually more advantages over the physical. If physical box goes down, everything goes down on the box. If
Hmm.
physical box goes down in the virtual infrastructure, you can switch the machine to another actually node in the cluster. If this is
yeah.
clustered environment, it usually it is. So virtual is more actually resilient to failures and stuff like that. If at home, yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of this. I would prefer the way of actually multiple hosting providers in different regions. So we got some
Hmm.
actually in Germany, some in Poland, some in France, and also providers are different as well. And that gives you this flexibility, like we had yesterday. One provider announced, oh, we got emergency maintenance. You can just switch the validators to the backup location, happy days. And of course,
Hmm.
those nodes, the backup nodes, are fully at sync. They synchronized 100%. So it really takes maximum 6 to 10 blocks missed to move the validator from one location to
Wow.
another. Yeah, that's a maximum. It could be faster if I script it, but it is dangerous. Yeah, that is the operation which shouldn't be scripted because you're risking actually double sign, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
kills your validator permanently. So
That's actually
mhm.
amazing that you just miss like few blocks, because it's totally fine. Like many people do it like few hours missed, like to
Mhm.
avoid any risk. So like I think that what you describing is probably one of the most efficient ways. Of course, what you saying, if it goes closer, right, there is danger of double sign and
Mhm.
ruining your reputation and the fans of the community, which you don't
Yeah.
want to do. And it's way better to miss hours of blocks than actually like making sure you don't miss the blocks, because there is like not much of the benefit here, and the risk to reward ratio is just bad. Like I just want to add, because many people suddenly got hooked up of this bare metal. Like everyone in the Twitter, you can ask, are you running bare metal, right? It's like, yes, but it's rented servers. I don't, but they are hooked up on this, like it should be at home, right? But we are humans, we live our lives, right? Like I always say, I'm sensitive sleeper. I struggle to sleep when I travel to new place and there is noise outside of the window. Like how I supposed to sleep with machine at home, right? Like I mean, it would be great for my tropical plants in the winter, but not great for me, right? So
It's,
there's like,
especially with the weather that we're getting at the moment. I think it's like 30 degrees here
yeah,
today in north of England, and you know that's
yeah,
pretty hot for north of England.
Yeah.
I can only imagine oh, running multiple
yeah.
bare metal servers would be doing
Oh, no,
to
that
And
would
my
be
house.
terrible.
It'd be horrible.
and
Oh, mhm.
and the backup with the renting servers is probably better, because I know what Jacob doing, and I don't really get idea behind that. Like he is having the batteries that allow him for 6 hours of work once
It's
the
using UPS. Yeah. So it's the similar thing that we did and like massive shows, that if you lose the generators or you lose the physical power of the venue, at least the mixing decks would be running on UPS. At least the show file wouldn't die on you.
Yeah.
And then when you get power back, it's just everything's still running anyway. So it's just a backup battery, which is very smart.
Yeah.
Partially, because if internet provider has an outage of power as well, you won't get connectivity either way. So
that's the thing we always said. You know, if you're losing power, you're fucked anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to lose internet. You're losing a lot, so you're pointless. Even, you know.
So to run actually good bare metal at home, you need probably the backup server in case it burns.
Yeah.
You need a battery or multiple batteries. If you want to be extra secure, you need to have the power generation, probably like that run on the petrol.
A
as
backup
the
Jenny. And something that switches your internet provider to 4G, because I think Jacob actually has ran an SDK chain on Raspberry Pi, and I think he did it on fucking 4G as well. So like, he's probably got something that will switch to it, you know, and keep the network running, no doubt.
And with that, multiple internet providers, right? Like that's actually, let's say, so this is so much work that seems as of now maybe doesn't have that much sense. I wonder, you as the validator, to what point you can scale with the chains, because what I was thinking, and which would create the problems in the future, you run the validator on 200 chains and 190 of them are like Cerberus, or like those completely unprofitable chains. What it would make for most of the people, hey, I'm not gonna vote, I'm not gonna even look into this. And that create like the problems, and it will create the ghost chains. So how far you could scale, how many chains you could support, and give them full attention, because that's probably very important to be participant of the network.
I think for me it's limiting myself to chains that I do love, that I love what they're building. I can sit and look at GitHub repos and get notifications and seeing things that are actually happening. But you've got a like a seesaw effect. Do you either want to be a DevOps engineer, or do you want to be a front end developer or a back end developer? You can't really focus on all of them and learn one to be good at one. You got to try and so I always say to myself, I am not going over like 5 or 6 validators, because it will just be too much work. I like getting involved in community and on the Discord and asking questions and obviously helping people as well. And you start missing proposals, you start missing upgrades. Cosmovisor is a fantastic module to get brought out for SDK. You can just like get on with it, and you know, fucking it upgrades itself effectively. But yeah, if you start like going on too many chains, it becomes a bit of a full-time job, and I've got other tasks to do with Juno. I've got like a bit of outreach to try and get on with, and I've got, you know, we've obviously got the ChainTools side of things. We're trying to just build out our website and get our infrastructure working, and we've actually had to get a couple of guys in now to expand even further. You know, just to help out with the community and some documentation. You know, we want to be writing good guides for the next wave of new users who will come to crypto. Like, you know, it will happen. They might not be interested at the moment, being a bit of a bear market, but when they come, you know, we got to be ready. We need to be ready for it, you know, because or else it's just going to be like Cosmos will just be like, what's Cosmos? Like, I speak to so many people and I'm gobsmacked that they don't even know what it does, and you're just like, where the fuck have you been, man? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, but that's our fault. You know, that's not their fault. That's our fault for not educating them enough and showing them the way. This is it. It's my philosophy for it. This is the way I see
it's quite interesting because we are in the bear market, but if you are in Cosmos, you don't feel that. Like,
Do you don't you? It's like what fucking bear market?
so my friends keep messaging me. Maybe it's time to got back or something. Like, I never left. I'm more
Yeah,
active. I have more work than I ever did. I have more interviews with the people than I ever did before, and the level of development is bigger than ever, right? So like, you simply don't feel that, and there's always the drama as well as in the is the bear market. Like, someone is asking, Patrick is
that
asking, do
I
they
can answer that. Yeah, if you
Mhm.
bear with us, Patrick, and I can't give you an exact time scale on it, but we are building a sort of academy for new people coming on board, and we're going to do videos. We're going to, like, you can come on and shadow and see what we're doing, and yeah, for sure, mate, it's something we're definitely going to be doing. Just follow us on the socials. I'm sure Don can
Yeah,
put the details up on the show notes or whatever, but yeah,
we'll
keep an
do
eye out for it.
we'll link all the socials in the description, and this we will talk, because me and Simon are Polish, and I think I could work with Simon or something as well. You have, if Simon has time, that's because I will actually have business to Simon, like, not I I I will want to squeeze something out of Simon, like, not that Simon will benefit from that. You have the Juno Tools, and it's one app that I'm very well aware since the start, right?
Well, Juno
So
Tools is from it's from Deuce Labs. So it was a bit big. It all began the first hack Juno when I
mhm.
was planning a little idea of like a Juno. It was originally named Juno Drop,
So
where
the Juno Tools, because it's made by
Deuce Labs,
those
yeah,
labs,
they're the
but
brains
it's not.
behind it. It's
But
not. It's not affiliated by ChainTools. I do the marketing side of it with Juno Tools, but I began with an idea of Juno Drop, and I was floating the idea around, and I built a front end for it, and
Mhm,
I think Orkin or one of the other Deuce Labs guys came and said, "Come and have a chat. We've got like
mhm.
the back end code, Merkle airdrop, CW code
Yeah.
ready. Everything's ready to go, and we're thinking and just launching this thing. And we love the name. Do you want to come on and can I do the
Mhm,
marketing side of it? And that all I was interested in is there's some great cause and wasm devs there that I could be
mhm,
shadowing and learning from, and it's a great opportunity. And that's the way I did it. And the name get dropped. We just thought, because it's not just an airdrop, this app, it's more of a UI for CW contracts. So it can do a
mhm,
lot more than just airdrop. It can create CW20s, 721s. We've even got like the Terra migration where like even Terra addresses can be airdrop Juno tokens now. And
mhm,
Findler and Orkin are like OGs, man. They're fantastic. But Orkins
mhm.
I'm not sure if it was part of CoinFio or it worked with, but it worked with Ethan for some time. So they know their shit, man. And Findler's class him as a
Mhm.
friend now. Like, and the front end that you're looking at there was done by Strange Love, who are the front end
Right.
guys. That's a great job they did on that. So it's a bit of a collab from all sorts of departments. But what a great thing. I mean, I'm in the process of just creating our own little kind of validator. It's not going to be a token. It's going to be like worth anything. We don't want to
Mhm,
create that. We want to create more of a utility token and run
mhm,
with it that way. In terms of like, if you've been airdropped our utility token, like what Patrick's asking and the questions, then it gives you access to some of our academy videos and stuff like that. We can run with it like this. There's just like loads of use cases at the moment, and there's just not enough hours in a day. Really isn't to get on with stuff. But yeah, but rest
um
assured, we are very busy and we're getting on with things. So it's a
yeah,
great place to be working in.
I guess you do great at the networking, because imagine, I would say, like, you are the main person behind Juno Tools. which is like I learned actually from Highlander of that, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm
well, yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah. The Orkin and Findler obviously like
Yeah,
they didn't want to try and manage the market inside of it. They
yeah.
wanted, give me control of like getting the word out there. But it's effortless because all you need to do is just get the Juno main account to fucking retweet it,
Mhm.
and it's huge already, and that's Juno's community. Do you know what I mean? And that's the good thing about it. We've got a strong community at Juno, so
Yeah.
literally click, click. This is what we've released, and everybody's like, and it's great.
Juno is very cultish. Like it's like a cult, which is a little bit dangerous because you try to say something against Juno community, they will eat you alive. They're
It's
similar.
it's strong.
The strong like that I would say, like there is blockchain that I'm not fan of, which is Cardano, which I consider very cultish as well. Like and you want
Yeah,
this community, you want the community that just doesn't sell, they just buy, they believe so much that despite the fact that all you brought is, I don't know, white paper, they still stick to you, right? That's the power of Cardano, I would say. Like Juno shipping things, so we are, I guess,
I'm
better
not
with that.
familiar. I honestly, I could not find you one application on Cardano. I'm sure there
Yeah,
is, but I've never came across it. I was first involved with Ethereum. Absolutely loved what was on Ethereum when the fees were all low and everything was great. And then Uniswap arrived. It was phenomenal what I was like. And then the fees started rising, and that's when I fell down the Cosmos rabbit hole
yeah.
and thought, this is like, it just, everything felt so much slicker and sort of
Mhm.
like, it's hard to explain, like, but it's smoother, Yeah, I've not used Ethereum in a long time.
So the quick history of Cardano and Phenomenon. It launched the token in 2017. I don't know
Right.
if maybe they had white paper, and I think it not sure if it was ERC20. It went up to like $20 billion or $30 billion market cap valuation. They meant to be smart contract platform, and 4 years later they enabled smart contracts, which allowed them to went up to $50 billion market cap. They launched dex that was actually dysfunctional, and people transactions were stuck for
Yeah,
days.
for ages I've heard that. Yeah.
And that's the achievement of Cardano, and it's still one of the best performing asset in the
Uh, uh,
space.
Don,
You know.
what I've noticed, right, in this industry is Cosmos doesn't pay for marketing, right? And Juno's the
Mhm.
same sort of ethos. Like you
Mhm.
speak to Frey and some of the core root guys, and most of them are like, we don't need to pay for marketing. We just build and
Yeah.
they will come, which is absolutely right. But there also is that little bit of during a bear market, it's nice to actually get the name out there and get some articles maybe on the go. And because Juno had a bit of bad press, and I think I put a kind of poll out just to get the community feel on what they would think on paying for a Coin Telegraph article or something, and it was kind of split down the middle, and I was a bit
Mhm.
like, oh, I was surprised, but no one was really giving me a like, was it going one way or the other? Should we do it or should we not? So
Mhm.
I think it would be a good thing to get actual, because if people go and if you go and tell somebody about Juno and they go and maybe Google it or something, what are they going to read about? What is the first thing
Um,
that will come up?
wasn't you part, because Coin Bureau, he had the meetup,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the sponsors there were Juno.
Yeah,
How,
that was
how did
me.
it
Got all that.
happen? And was it you sponsored that, or?
We got we did not me personally. Juno set
Mhm.
up a marketing DAO where it's like
Right.
for specifically marketing, where if we
Mhm.
wanted to buy some t-shirts or get some hoodies on the go or pay for little events or
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then Coin Bureau came up. I got chatting to them, and yeah, we had we had a sort of like, it wasn't a stall we got set up. We didn't want a stall. We thought like it's pointless. Um, but what if we can get our name on the big banners and we get our Juno all over the place? And we did a deal with them, but it wasn't all about getting our name about the conference. It was the people who I've met post-conference who I'm now speaking to, who love what we do. Was what it was all about for me, networking. And yeah, sure enough, I can't comment on what we've got kind of planned at the moment, but I had a meeting yesterday with some very interesting people here in the UK about doing some good stuff. It's more of like, I suppose I can tell you like what we're after. We're after like, it's nice getting some developers from the Terra community over, and building on Juno and building on Cosmos in general. He's saying Leaker, and it's nice that obviously, but we need to think. I'm thinking 5 years ahead of now. You know, where we're getting the next batch of software engineers from, where they're coming from. You know, this is important, man. In me being at Manchester, Manchester University, there's computer science departments there that we're patching into, and we're going to try and get these guys young and try and get them interested in blockchain. Because I'll tell you one thing, blockchain ain't going anywhere, and there already is universities I am aware of that have societies specifically for blockchain, and we've got to get in there first, because it's trying to steal them before they go away and get a 300k a year job at Amazon or Google. You know, you ain't going to get any developers from that world now just want to leave that and come over to blockchain. You know, it's like I've heard before, it's like people have got mortgages to pay and fucking rent to pay. You know, it's like
this is very correct. Ironically, by the way, the Terra fall was the best thing that could ever happen to Juno. Like we got developers that we needed, right? So it's great.
True. And that's true.
Also good thing you said we're not getting this, like, because people maybe don't realize that the people who work in US in Amazon, Google, Facebook, their salaries is at over $500,000 a year, right? So
good luck trying to get them to come and, good luck trying to get them to come and work on Juno. It's not going to fucking happen. Do you know what I mean?
And we need to accommodate the people. So like I try sometimes to speak about money, because like sometimes I would accuse someone, but it's very like we need to understand that the developer is great, very high paid job, you know, and you have to attract these people and give them also possibilities to make money in Juno ecosystem, whether with onboarding their own project or providing them with the good funding from community pool or developer pool. You said UK. Juno has a lot of devs from UK, right?
We've got Frey's here, Callum's here. Am I missing anyone out? Tom EcoStake's here.
Right.
I think I met them too. I met Tom and Frey down at a little. He was doing a demonstration on Cosmos, but this specific one actually was about validation, which was wicked, man. What they were doing. I've still to meet Callum, but Callum's superb. Some of the tutorials he's did on Cosmos is just what I needed, like to try and get me in at an entry level. But well, on the subject of sort of academy, like I'm buzzing what CoinFuel are doing now, like announcing an academy for Cosmos, because that's going to take it to the next level. It's what they needed to do, and I think, mate, this is just me personally thinking. What I would do is just being ready for these developers to come on board and go, right, well, we don't want to build our own validator set. We don't want to like worry about building a blockchain. We'll just build an application then and launch it on Juno. It's like, this is how simple it is for you. That's the idea I'm getting at. And if we can help out with ChainTools and sort of point that towards any network on Cosmos and sort of go, well, you know, what's your specific application you want to build? Pretty much Juno can cover it if you're coding in Cosmos and Rust and such, and you know, come and have a little chat with us, and you know, we might actually do some video tutorials on how easy it is for you to
Yeah.
launch stuff.
I will ask some more questions. I'm interested about you, but let's jump into the chain tools, right? Because that's the like let's because we are like 1 hour in, and I want to really, because I think I need you guys, because so I have the node that I do not manage, and it causes some controversy in the ecosystem. The person who does manage my node is the guy is Josh, and he has also his own validator that came to Juno, right? So they're like, hey, it's white label validator, which I have a little problem with, because like the problem I caused myself was that I disclosed that. I would be
Who's
very
Josh?
nice. He's new validator, Ted Crypto.
Right.
He just entered recently with the recent expansion. But like he was not in the ecosystem when he was starting. He's great validator.
Yeah.
So he makes sure I don't go down. I have the monitoring on Telegram and stuff, and I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
everything, but I disclose it that it's him. So there can be people that point the fingers, hey, you are the problem, right? But we know there is like plenty white label validators. And with that, my only way to solve this problem would be learn or get the partner who will also learn, and he can take care of the technical things, and I can focus on what you're doing. So with that, like which is like you have great partnership with Simon, right? Together, that one guy probably manage more of the technical side, and I'd love to have this partnership at some point. Of course, I'd love to have this partnership with the Josh, but he has his own validator that is main focus. So it excluding me. Like like he has his own business to take care of and doing mine. So I will have to at some point have I'd love to solve it, but I don't have this partner. And you told me like may I show the page that you sent me on Telegram?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah. The website. Yeah,
so
that's it.
it's not
Um,
ready, right? This is not secure link. Um, but
that,
you are
that's live. That one. That's live. Yeah, yeah. That's live.
mhm.
That's good to go. Yeah.
So uh, you will be providing staking services, but I think you want to create some sort of academy here, right?
Yes. So what we're up to is like Simon suggested, it was the best way. We release little bits of info as the weeks and months go
Mhm.
on. We don't just go, there we go, there's a whole lot, and everybody just gets bored of it and fucks off and goes and does something else. What we're doing is at the moment we're building out little what we're going to put. Is it state sync next? We're going to like kind of talk about in terms of what we're up to, Simon. I think it is. It's like we're going to release like this is what we're providing for networks who want to get their nodes up and running fast, and then yeah, we're working on this little UI for gRPC calling and stuff like that, which is
Mhm.
going to take a bit of time as well. But then the academy is definitely on the radar to build, but that takes time. It takes time
Yeah.
to build videos and guides, and
Mhm.
we'll get there.
Mhm.
But I suppose it's something you could actually jump on, Don, and you could be our first little student who can come and test it out and see if you can
Mhm.
actually build a
I'd
validator
love
on your own and do it, and then we know it's a success because it's like, well, he learned from ChainTools and he's got his own
yeah.
rig on the go. So happy for you to come on and do that.
That's exactly what I want to know, because for someone who's completely non-technical, if I would spend time, probably I would be able to learn something. But on the internet so far, if you Google how to be validator, right, very very basic,
Yeah,
you will have the Medium articles, but for non-technical people, they don't tell anything. Like you, as the non-technical, you are unable to jump. What the space is missing, like when you Google how to be validator, is the academy course, Zero to Hero, how to be validator without background as developer, as the tech person. And in this course, it opens with what you need to start a validator, what software, how to familiarize yourself with the software, then what software you need to run the validator. Here, let me show you what this software is about. And
Yeah.
this kind of there is nothing like this. You
I
can't
think
find that. Mhm.
maybe Simon could answer it better than me, but I think you have to have a certain level of Linux CLI understanding, or else you're going to have a hard time getting around the CLI. It's as simple as that. There is a level you've got. It's got to be an entry level. You can't just be like, here's the zero to hero, and then
Mhm.
people start fucking YOLOing into mainnet, and then it's like, well,
Well,
ChainTools showed me how to do it.
that that's exactly the way. This is like, hey, here you learn, and then go to test nets, right? You can actually, here is how you can
Hmm.
Yeah,
test your skills. Wait, do the upgrade on the test net yourself, if that's
Yeah.
possible. I have no background with Linux, and people seems to don't get this. Like, look, I can't validate myself. Like, I would get
yeah,
slashed right away. Like, people don't get that. Like, I don't even know how to start, right? So, like,
yeah,
even the education, showing people the Linux, right, like basics, and teaching them that is quite useful. So you need to make people interested in the software, so they are willing to jump to actually Linux, and get interest in that, right? So this is something I personally struggle. um
yeah,
Jacob, like, often would say, hey, I would help you, but I think Jacob speak in such technical terms. He doesn't understand that someone might not know nothing, and that's the reality of the life is different. The reality, most people use the WhatsApp on the daily. That's only the
yeah.
interaction they have with the tech, like, not so.
Yeah.
The space has a lot to grow. And oh,
It's
Rarma is
an
here.
interesting. Hello, Rama. It's an interesting point you're making, but you are delving into another like fucking career in just learning Linux.
Hmm.
We would my opinion to it would be, before you enter this sort of guide or course that we're doing here, have a look at this guide on how to build a Linux or Ubuntu and stuff like that, and get familiar
Hmm.
with the command line interface before you even think about
Hmm.
going ahead with these tutorials. Quite happily, if we got time to show you what's going down, mate, and there's some. I don't know, like, but there was a good idea floating around about an actual chain that runs specifically for new validators. A
Hmm.
real chain. I don't mean a test net, a real chain with real economic value, everything, and it just a playground for validators.
Hmm.
This is something that the idea has been floated around, and I think it's a brilliant idea for the likes of yourself to get on there. And test nets are great, but they're great for that specific network. They're not
Hmm.
an all-rounded. It's like
This is.
it's
Mhm.
hard, right? You need to fuck up to learn. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be able to mess up something big to go, fucking hell, I'm not going to do that again, right? And there's been so many times where I've like, RM minus RF, bomb, data
Mhm.
files, data folders gone, shit. It's like, what do I do now?
That
It's like,
look.
you don't do it again then, do you? Because you've learned.
Mhm. That's exactly the point. And
Yeah.
there are chains for it. I think Chihuahua would be perfect for it, right? Like,
I mean, Chihuahua's
I
grown
mean,
into quite a substantial. Chihuahua's grown
yeah,
into a little good development chain. I think now. It's
but
obviously the
but
price isn't too good,
it's
but
still quite easy to join the active set and fuck up. Like, you still can do it there without endangering the network, or maybe this Cerebrus or Cerebrus, right? So, as you said, you need Linux, and that's why I say, like, look, this is means for me to make some extra money. I want to be in the ecosystem. I don't know how to make money. I will partner with someone, and I get 50% of that's what I do. But with these controversies, I have the friend, he knows Linux, right? So I'm like, his name Matthew. So I'm
yeah,
like, Mateusz, like, learn this, because I need to move my nodes. I want you to run my nodes. Once you know how, We're gonna
Yeah.
find the network, right? And I'm gonna pay, and we will run the node. We will wait for the upgrade. You will do the upgrade and stuff. And after a few months, if we will do not fuck up, I will contact my guy, which is Josh, and we will move our nodes to you. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you need this few months of experience. And if you could, guys, like do this sort of academy, it would be, of course,
Yeah.
not your main business, but I think there
No,
would
you're
be.
right. I'd love that. That's the idea, though. It's like
Mhm,
getting people, pointing them. Uni testnet's a great place
mhm,
because Frey makes it so easy for people, right? You know, the admin he does on that network is the best I've seen across all
mhm,
chains. I'm not on every chain, right? But what he does with the instructions is basically you shouldn't be doing this copy and pasting, but because you don't really
mhm,
look into what's actually involved and what's been changed in the code and stuff. But it's easy for someone who's just learning how to get familiar with what's going on with the
yeah,
CLI to get some experience. And uni four's coming up shortly, so
mhm,
you know you should just try and get involved in there and try and get a box running and just see how it goes. You don't
mhm,
even need a big server to run the testnet because it will be
yeah,
starting
yeah,
from a fresh data structure anyway. So it'll be like,
mhm,
I'm sure you could get one for like $25 a month and let it run for a few
mhm,
weeks or so. And yes,
yeah.
you should get
Um,
involved. Like
is it just two of you in ChainTools, or is there more people?
we've got a community lead now called Harry. Cosmos Harry is known as around Telegram. He's a lovely guy, but he's just figuring out what's going on at the moment. We're just
Yeah.
happily got him involved, and we're going to get a review on the go and just see what he wants
Mhm,
to do. We're not telling him what to do. If he's happy doing what he does with us, and he tells us what he can contribute to, and yeah, if it works, it works. We're not specifically saying you do
yeah.
this, you do that. We're not like that. We just we just want to get we just want to
Because
make
I
a
see you plan to have like community chat, and it would be cool if you have it on your page, right? Like, let's say I go to ChainTools on the page, and there is pop-up chat. Hey, how can we help you? And there is the person who can actually help the person, instruct them how to stake and do everything. Like, so, like if you build a company and
yeah.
brand, you actually need to expand into this really great user experience for the people, like being like this big company, like there is Citadel DAO, right, where like they have the support, and it would be good if ChainTools can actually grow into this, you know.
What does he mean
um
there? Do you guys make your presence at conference? Does he mean like do you actually turn up at conferences? I don't.
yeah, like I think that's if you go to the
Presence.
conferences
Yeah,
and connect, like the events like Prague, the
yeah,
Seoul.
yeah. Well, we will be. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to Colombia in September, and
Right.
I'll be repping Juno, but I'll also be repping ChainTools as well,
Mhm,
and Juno Tools. All things that I get involved with is if anyone wants to come up and ask any questions about all that kind of thing,
mhm.
come and find me. No
uh
problem. I'll be
by the
bringing
way,
my
I see.
guitar. That's for sure.
Oh,
That's
nice, you
coming,
play
my friend.
guitar.
Yes, I do. Do you want me to play your song?
Yeah, please do.
I'll
Please
play a
do.
wee tune, right? I'll play
Yeah,
a wee
please,
tune.
please. You are
I'm
the
not.
man of the
I'm not gonna.
Renaissance. Also,
I'm not gonna sing
some
today because can't be asked.
some people is watching, so hit the like button. That will help. Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, I've got my fucking chords all run there. There's my headphones are in. I can't really hear
Should I sing Stairway to Heaven? No,
it. Oh, you sing it. Aye, sing it in a Polish accent. I bet I just bought this wee guitar. It's lovely. It sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. So I mean, I'll be bringing the guitar. I'll be
nice.
networking with everybody in the cosmos. Jake plays. I believe Jake is a bit of a player. I don't know if he's like bass guitar or something, but I said like, let's jam, let's do it one day.
Zampoli?
We'll have a laugh. No, Jake Hartnell. He
Oh,
jams.
Jay Cardinal, the guy I
Yeah.
hate. I as the
Mhm.
as the nickname. as the teenage, I tried to learn the bass guitar. So look, I still have the.
Sounds like you broke it. Oh, what's this? Yeah.
That's the I had the bass
looks like a
guitar, so I
monitor.
have. Sorry.
Is that just a cab?
So that's the for volume. I don't know how is it in English. You connect the
Amplifier. Amplifier.
yeah
Yeah, it's the
amplifier. That's
amp.
I have. So it's like cheap one, right? But as the teenage, I got myself the bass guitar, and I try to learn, but I'm horrible with this. So yeah,
Rammer's commenting on your shorts. That's pretty good, man.
I loved the. Oh, this I yeah the. As the teenage, I had like long hair. I was like a lot into rock music,
Yeah.
So I wanted to play.
I have a bit of a metal background when I was younger, when I used to do a bit of skateboarding and all that kind of shit. And yeah, I love Metallica. I still love Metallica. I think they're one of the best bands ever. But then I go from Metallica to like Irish country folk music. It's like quite a broad one end to the other. So,
yeah, like
yeah,
I
music,
some
man.
people are just like into one music, right? I actually, when you pick guitar, I thought you start playing Nothing Else Matters, because that's like the the first
Yeah.
one like that people like
The easy
learn.
one.
Right, so I was expecting you gonna start with this, but me too. Like I started with the rock. Like I love the punk as the teenage, like Sex Pistols and stuff. And I'm able to listen like death metal, which is like Behemoth, which is like Polish band. And after that I
They're
can go
really heavy.
Yeah.
and then but I'm also fan of Michael Jackson, and I'm also fan of like really like cheesy Polish hip hop sometimes. Like I go like everywhere, right? So like I love music. Like I'm with the headphones all the
It's
time,
great.
right?
Great, man. Music's
So
music's the best thing in the whole world, mate. That's
yeah,
it.
like as the that's like as much as I prefer to talk about music, I think I don't want to bore the people down there. Oh, by the way, you also ride on the bike, right? The mountain bike, I saw.
Yeah, I do racing. I've got a race this weekend, and
Right.
I've managed to pull my hamstring yesterday, so I'm just sort of
Oh,
nursing it at the moment. So I'm like, I'll see how I go. I'm gonna try and get out for a wee ride today and see. But yeah, what a fucking start!
yeah.
And the thing is, it's the last time I raced was at this same place last year, and I took a really bad crash at it. So it's like it's in the back of my mind that I know the section that I'm coming down, and it's like, yeah, it's not a good
Right.
frame of mind to have when you're going in, because technically, when you're thinking you're going to crash, you're going to
You.
crash. So you need to get that away. So yeah, I
So
need to try and get sharp. But
I'm
I love
I'm
it,
not
man. I
right.
love
I'm not racing as you do, but I do have bike, and I have some forests a little bit here, so I like to go. I have the bike is the specialized, right? Is the
Oh,
proper
yeah. Good
proper
brand, mate.
mountain bike. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I love doing this stuff, like. So unfortunately my friend fall in love, so like he was my friend who would go to the forest and ride with me, and he doesn't do it anymore. So
She's gone. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Should we buy him a
um
bike? It's the same color as your headphones, then.
probably should, yeah. He got so much more unhealthy now. Like, you can, when we were riding
Ah,
bike, he
yeah.
was in such a better shape.
Cool.
So with the chain tools, what else you going to offer? Like education, I think that's the plan. um
I
is
think
there?
one of them, obviously Simon's the DevOps guru. I'm
Mhm.
going to try to create useful applications and get help from get outsource help, and yeah, we're going to build useful tools for not only retail market but for
Mhm.
developers as well. Like
Mhm.
people want to develop applications faster, then if we can provide UIs that saves them faffing around with the back end CLI stuff, you can get. It's exactly what Juno Tools did, really. If we can provide some good UIs and services for other chains, and if it gets us up the set, then we're happy to accept contributions that way. Yeah, we just want to. It's early days. We'll just get our heads down and build, and rather than promote it before it's even shipped. So that's the idea.
I wonder, like, because I love Juno and I love Cosmos, but still the most development that I see, the apps that were most revolutionary were discovered on Ethereum, which is the major issue of all of the other layer one chains, that they struggle with innovation. Like you mentioned before, Uniswap, which is seriously like, it was single most important application of the 2021 bull market, I think, and
Yeah,
2020,
and
because it brought,
and like all these
yeah,
ones,
yeah.
I suppose they spun
So
off a Uniswap, didn't
this,
they? So.
but all of that started on Ethereum, and what other layer one chains did was copying. So I want to, what is your opinion? What could be the next application? Maybe is there application that are being already developed on Juno that I don't know, that could have really big influence on the lives of crypto people, like maybe not all people lives, but actually make them like, hey, we're going here because
I,
that's happening.
interoperable smart contracts. That's
Mm-hmm.
never been done. So that comes on Juno. That's massive. The good thing with
Mm-hmm.
Cosmos is we nailed the security first. Now we've got the security. Let's float smart
Mm-hmm.
contracts around the networks. Look at IBC, man. That's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's starting to get wrote about now on the big media providers. They're starting to notice, like we've kind of escaped all this bridge sort of hacks and all that kind of thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
slightly different because IBC is, would you call it a bridge in a way? It's slightly different, isn't it? It's not technically a
It's not a bridge, but it seems
what's
like a
differently.
bridge, right?
Yeah, what's differently. So it's not been hacked, so to speak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that coming to Juno is important. And let's just see what Look bring as well. And there's some good
Mm-hmm.
projects that came from Terra who are producing some looks like to be pretty good stuff, and I've seen some
How,
interesting things.
do you see place for DAOs, and in what type of institution DAO could be used?
I, I could use it with anything, man. Really, like, I can think of anything, and I could create a multi-sig for my family here in the house. To like, if you do well in school, there's a multi-sig there. You get rewarded for passing a certain amount of degrees at school. All these things are like people love that kind of stuff. To think that
Mm-hmm.
you can actually like and here in the UK, I'm not sure what it's like in Poland and Europe, but all the kids have got this thing called a Go Henry card, and it's just sort of linked to your bank account. And I thought, why the fuck do you use that? Just get a Kepler wallet and just like, there you go. Just give them crypto, and that you can
Mm-hmm.
get a crypto.com card, and then that brings it back to fiat. But imagine if you get, you're running a multi-sig on Juno, and it's like, there's a smart contract there that knows that they've done straight A's across the board,
Mm-hmm.
and it pays them out a big reward for doing well at school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I think that's cool as fuck. Honestly, I really do.
That's really great point, because for a long time I couldn't see the purpose of DAO, and maybe Simon remember how was the, like, this is like really stupid example, but this, like, it would work. Like when I was a child, uh my hood there was like maybe 10 kids. We hated kids from the other hoods. We beat them up. They beat us, right? That's the child. Like you had the sticks, you were doing stupid shit all the time. I imagine UK had the same. In modern times, I'd love us to have DAO. And we had the leader in the DAO. Like that's how it would look today. So it's the stupid example, but that gives you idea that you can have these very small communities that like to have fun together, and you can build the structures of it with bringing adaptation. Like if you have some schools, you can use the DAOs to have governing bodies, and you can like simple have the history of the funds, how it's being spent, without the need of having the notebook for that. Like there is like really this amazing use of DAOs, and I do really see that even like
You're starting to get it now, aren't you? 'Cause it takes a little
yeah.
while. Took a while for me to understand like what the fuck is the DAO? What can we what do we do with this? And then when you start like when you think of use cases, then your mind opens up to all sorts of cool little ideas. I mean, we've got our own little multi-sig created on DAO for ChainTools that just there's a treasury in there, and it just pays for things that need paid for, and it's so simple to do. You know, it's like imagine me trying to send money over to Simon via a bank. You know, it's like. Come on, hard work. You know what I mean? It's just like there's a multi-sig. We need 2 over 3 votes passed, and it's done. You know, and it's like so simple, so simple.
Yeah. So like this is exactly point that I didn't see that make it simple. And considering DAO, like because I had this talk, like Ethereum still has better applications. Like when it comes to user experience and stuff, but I'm waiting for DAO to get like really expanded into this multi-optional DAO with the different structures, you know, because still many people don't want to move to Juno. Like I have friends from Ethereum and they are like, no, people are on Ethereum.
Don, you've got 56% of total value locked in Ethereum network at the moment, you know. So it's like it's quite a big market cap to take sort of big chunks of. You know, I think Cosmos will have its day during this bear market. I mean, I'll quote Jack Zampolin on that. I mean, it's like this bear market will be a winner for Cosmos, no doubt. And I do believe he's right there in saying that. Whether I don't think we'll steal number 2 spot or anything like that, but I do think we'll take a massive share of that percentage towards Cosmos because, you know, interchain security, interchain accounts. There's loads of cool things coming out that people might actually just go and then the penny will drop one day and you'll just see this big glowing green candle coming out of nowhere and everybody will be like, fuck, FOMO in, and then that's how it goes.
And that's how you sell and wait. Like next time I'm gonna so like the Patrick was asking if we are all fans of layer 1. I actually don't like this calling like layer 0. I just like using Cosmos and having the ability of use few different chains together. Sometimes I need more stars because I need some NFTs, so I quickly like exchange some Juno, moving this to stars, and like it's just seamless experience.
It's great. Great. And osmosis as well is like there's one thing that I will say about osmosis that everyone who I speak to who has experience in Ethereum have all said osmosis is the best looking DEX out there. Like the user experience on that is amazing, you know, and they're right, it's great. It looks awesome. It feels great when you're on it, you know. I've not used Uniswap in a long time. I really haven't, to be honest. So, and I've not used Arbitrum. I've not used what's the other one called? It's all the roll ups that are happening on Ethereum. I've not touched any of it. I'm so far behind.
Polygon.
On that Polygon. I managed to use Polygon. I've used a bit of Avalanche just to, but it's like it's the bridging over, and it's really hard work. Seeing you got to do something kind of quick. It's hard work. I mean, the only thing it's missing, I think, for Atom and Juno is the on-ramp from fiat right on. But we have that now with Kraken, don't we? I mean, you can go and buy Juno with US dollars now. So,
by the way, with Kraken, I was annoyed on Twitter, and I shouldn't lose sleep of that. There was one Twitter user cheating on the fees on Kraken, and he was showing how bad the fees are on Kraken. But what he was doing, he was buying Juno with his Apple Pay, and he was saying, "Look how high is the fees." And it was completely missing the point because you can't do it on osmosis, right? So he
Yeah.
was like saying, like, look how high fees, like
How much for
without
the
showing.
fees? How much for
So
the
like
fees?
the same, if you pay with Apple fee, it's probably like few percent the same on the all the exchanges, right?
Mhm.
But the swap fees, the problem is liquidity is
Yeah.
very low on Kraken, so that's the issue. But the swap fees are like fraction of what the
Okay.
centralized. If the liquidity would be good, the best is do it on the Kraken. But I like Kraken because it allows you to do the bank deposits, not all of them, and
Yeah,
they charge.
yeah, it's the easiest way to sort of buy Bitcoin. There was a lot of people who I was
Mhm.
trying to help buy Bitcoin, and they were all struggling with like
Yeah.
KYC and all sorts of things. And Kraken was always the one that allowed them to sort of,
So
yeah, we're accepting your bank. And
yeah, so the best is like if you want the fiat on RAM, just do like the big size if you can. Like I don't know what means big for, but if you want to like spend 5,000 on crypto, right, and you pay
yeah,
one fee of $20, that's acceptable. But if
Mhm.
you do
yeah,
like if you're trying to buy crypto like with $20 every single day, you lose fortune on the fees. You don't do that, right? So like, but some
yeah,
people actually do it and say like high fees. I want, but you can't do it on
yeah,
osmosis. Like you
yeah,
can't buy with the card on osmosis. So
yeah, yeah.
um,
I mean,
so
Juno's, I think they're building
mhm.
there's some a fiat on ramp being built now. I can't remember the
uh,
project name.
Cado money,
Cado
or I'm
money or
not
something. Yeah.
Cado. Sorry, I don't know how it's going to work. Actually, how you can build in the centralized manner fiat on ramp that allows you to purchase with the. It's still centralized, right? It
You
works
need
like
to
decentralized.
obviously have either liquidity somewhere, but obviously you need
Mhm.
to have a regulatory
Yeah.
okay that this can happen in your country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I do still expect the pretty high fees there, and that probably will not be the different than other fiat
you
on
know,
ramps, right?
you
But
know what? It's like you said, if you want to buy it in bulk, then you're not going to complain about $20 if
yeah,
you're buying five.
yeah,
It's fractions then, isn't it? But if you're
yeah.
maybe if you're DCAing in, might be a little bit of an issue for you if you're
Hmm.
trying to pay every week, like to
Hmm.
catch the highs and lows. Might be a different thing to think about, but yeah.
Hmm.
But we need
That's
a
the,
feet on ramp. That's the whole point of the problem I'm seeing
yeah.
with most other networks who I talk to is like kind of saying, well, it's like we got to bridge in from ETH and it's all this. It's like,
Hmm.
but that all the ETH maxes think like that. They think, well, why do you need other networks just beyond Ethereum? It's like,
Yeah. Have
cool,
have you
man.
always mhm. Have you
It's like,
always expected that? Because at first the Juno had this vision, hey, we're not gonna go on Dexes. Like actually, like I believe it wasn't like this. There was the words that we're not gonna pay for
well,
it. But
yeah, but it's like, yeah.
I felt there was a spirit of people believing that we will not need them.
I think if
So
Kraken want to come and buy the tokens and list, then that's up to them.
mhm,
That was the idea, and I'm not sure how Kraken got involved. I wasn't aware of it even being
mhm,
announced until it just happened. But as far as I'm aware, it's a case of if you want to come and buy the tokens, go and buy them on osmosis
mhm,
then, and fucking buy your liquidity and list it. Feel free, which is fine. So I mean, if we've got low liquidity, which could also mean
mhm.
they might actually run for a
Yeah,
validator
yeah.
one day and buy more liquidity. So we don't know yet, do we? Because they validate mostly every other fucking chain in Cosmos, don't they?
And then we can just slash them.
Yeah. Tokenomics is not my bag, but I'm
Uh,
surely that makes the price go up if they
yeah.
have to go and stake to their own validator and stuff.
It,
So
I think it did help a lot of Juno. By the way, Patrick was asking, it's like, so let's say one person believes they have a great app idea,
yeah,
that this changed the face of crypto. Um, how do the person start? Like, who would he chat with? Because
I mean, is he referring to who he would chat with from our team, or in
like,
general? Like,
I think he believes he has like great idea for the
yeah,
application, and who like what I would say, idea means nothing, to be honest. Like, you need to have something more, right?
yeah. This is it. I mean, you got to start from what you want to achieve from it, really, don't you? You know, it's like what you want to achieve with your application. That's the first thing you want to think about. Simon, yeah, go on.
Yeah, that would be the first thing. But another thing will be now really talk to people like us or other validators to identify the area application operates and why this is important. You got multiple chains. Each chain brings different stuff. Juno brings smart contracts and all the development infrastructure. But you got other chains like Kujira or Osmosis, which are financially directed. This application might fit the bill of financial development, right? And that platform might be more suitable for this. So that will be the first thing. Identify the best chain to accommodate the application in the Cosmos ecosystem at the moment, or eventually identify if that actual use case might require separate chain. Yeah. So that is the thing, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree, because sometimes your idea is not really that great idea. You know, many people have the idea and they're like, many people thought about this. The execution just cannot be done, for example, in the certain moment, or maybe this doesn't really exist because there is no market need for that. I want to ask you, because you. Mhm.
I mean, if as I said, Patrick, just keep an eye on like our website, and we'll be announcing. Follow us on Twitter. We'll be announcing like when we've got specific guides up on what we're sort of. Sorry as well, Simon. I completely forgot, but Simon's idea as well, which is pretty good, is using our sort of utility token to, you know, let people decide what they want from us. You know, what do they want to learn? Is there any specific like area they would like us to cover and try and help them with? You know, we're going to let the community and get community feedback as well. We're not just going to go, this is how it's going to be, and good luck. It's like, you know, we'll work with people on it.
Yeah. Target picture actually for us as a validators would be also to have regular chat with our delegators, for instance, right?
Yeah.
In terms of voting proposals, how we are going to vote as a validators in the first place, and eventually, do they want to see some other stuff coming out of the project really? So that is also something we will be aiming for. We have not really idea how to form this, how to start this event, but that is something which is bouncing in our minds, which is kind of necessary, because if you look at the landscape at the moment, it's the problem Patrick has. He doesn't know who to talk to, right? That's the first thing. Another thing, he identifies, oh, I got validators. Who is behind them? You go to the website, and the only thing is yo. Stake with us. We offer actually slash protection. We offer the best APR. We offer this and that. Yeah. Who are we? Yeah, where I can find those we. Yeah, and talk to those people, and that is the problem. And this is something we identified as well. And then it of course goes into the delegation stuff, tools production and stuff like that, because you have to keep also in mind that a lot of projects offers actually funding for projects and ideas, right? Even if someone is not a developer, it might be actually arranged the way that we find the developers and help to get the funding for the idea and stuff like that. So that is another thing. Yeah? People don't know about this. They don't have panel to discuss it even. So
yeah, spot on, mate. Spot on. It's good to actually know who you're staking with and seeing what their goals are going forward. Very important.
And if I will be late for the upgrade, people can come to me and say, "What the fuck? Yeah, why have you missed the update? Yeah? We're not validating anymore. Yeah, slap.
Exactly.
Yeah? Fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's even that simple. And this is very missing piece, because basically, you got only closed validators chat, which is obviously required because you got technical discussions, right? Sometimes even debugging. It's not something which is supposed to even go public outside of the validators community.
Security in it.
Yeah, but on the other side, you expect people to delegate to you. Okay, then go to people and say, yeah, that's me basically. Yeah? Even if we're not active, super active on social channels, we must be available in some form and shape to people so they can ask the question. They can ping me and say, oh, how you are going to vote on this one. Yeah? How about we do this because it fits the bill of that chain I'm delegating to you on, so and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Guys, do you plan to expand into validating other chains than Cosmos? Because there is some good chain like Near Protocol, right? Mina Protocol seems quite popular. Did you ever look into this and thought maybe we should expand there as well to get some more funding?
It's up to Simon. I mean, me personally, it's not validation can be rewarding on a chain that you're high up on, and when you can, obviously, when you get the tax man to go and pay, it's not so fucking nice, but this is what happens. You got to pay the bills. So, I'm quite happy in like trying to learn, as I say, the creative side of things, trying to learn how to build cool applications or cool UIs, or and yeah, if you technically, like, if you contribute to stuff and you build useful things, you get rewarded that way as well. I've always been that mindset. If Simon wants to go ahead and validate as much as he wants, that's totally up to him. I will help him out in any way I can, obviously with guides and all that kind of stuff as well, because that's how we operate. We're we're not no one's boss or anything like that. We're just trying to help each other out as much as we can.
Validating different ecosystems is kind of troublesome, because now if you technologically sitting on, let's say, Cosmos side, like you've seen, we can move validator from one place to another with missing only 3 blocks, for example, and this type of stuff. Before you get to that level in other technology, it takes time, and this is also a barrier for us. More infrastructure we have, less time we have actually to get to know another ecosystem. And then the question is, what is the value of getting it? If I get actually the container of coins from that ecosystem, I might consider that purely for the profit purpose, because I say, oh, I'll be in the mid-range of the validators, I will throw my container in and I will run the validator happy days. I don't need to pay the commission. But other than that, is really technological barrier even for us. Sitting deeply in one ecosystem or 2 ecosystems, still it will become technology barrier at some point.
Even my Ethereum node, like, see, after the unlock happens, I'm fucking ready for just unplugging it and withdrawing. But I'm not sure if you can withdraw quite yet. I don't know how the merge is working, but it was 2 years you lock up. Like, I had a shitload of Ethereum bought very, 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 very cheap, and then when the validating thing come up, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to put it all in here and just hold it forever and see what happens. But yeah, it's like you need to upgrade. Yeah, I'll need to phone you on this, Simon, actually. But being a little Debian box, you need to upgrade the hardware. Or turn it into a light client or something as well. So there's a little bit of fiddling to do on it as well. So I just thought, I can't be bothered. I'd just rather just work on Cosmos. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the way I see it now. Honestly, it's a network that's got everything that I need. Cosmos, please repair your website. What's up with our website? It's beta mode. Don't worry about it too much.
Cosmos Pack, are you Polish? That's like, are you Polish? Like, I think Cosmos Pack might be Polish, like just not 100%. But Simon, I want to ask you, like, have you interacted with, like, what's the stage of Poland in the, because, like, to be honest, like, I barely see Polish people in the ecosystem. I'd love to promote that here, because I think Poland is considered quite technical, and I think there's a lot of developers, and it would be nice to onboard them. What's your experience with the community? Is there more Polish developers, and maybe is Poland a good place to work in blockchain? What would be your take on that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Now, last few years, when I was moving across different companies, because apart of the crypto, I also actually work in IT full time. none of the developers really was familiar with the blockchain and the technology, how to develop on that. And I was actually moving through companies which actually had the software development departments. So there is a lot of learning for people to do in the first place in Poland as a country, how to develop on blockchain and the purpose. Because the main thing is people don't understand that and they don't get an idea. Yeah, but one thing which blockchain brings is data immutability in the first place, and then decentralization, which provides you actually high availability for the data and redundancy of the data. And also consistency of the data, which people don't get because they embedded strongly as a developers into database. Good example actually for them used to be to tell them, oh, look at Estonia. A lot of people don't even know that they run actually e-citizen program, which issues you e-citizenship of Estonia remotely.
Yeah.
I got one of those. And that system runs on the blockchain. They have actually country run on the blockchain. And that is one of the first implementations of the blockchain in real life. They got all the services, banking, company registration, citizen services for registered citizens on the blockchain. And then people start realizing, oh yeah, then I can put actually a lot of things there. I can put the ID, identification, some access information, for example, yeah, how to do stuff. And those records will be basically identifying me, right? Then, yeah, a lot of things. But going back to the question about Poland and the developers, a lot of learning and a lot of actually understanding of the purpose of it, because people don't see that, don't understand. What I've noticed also, people don't even know where to start, where to go to see, oh, crypto, I've heard about crypto, so what's the price of the Bitcoin? Well, yeah. Bitcoin started this blockchain boom, I would say, but this is just a store of value. People don't even realize that you got thousands of other assets, chains, which provide some services. Main thing I think in here, it's the language barrier I've noticed as well. This might be the thing. A lot of material is available in English language, and basically people might have the trouble with this thing. But yeah, it's not actually well, let's say, announced in here. And the biggest focus also I've seen from academic institutions, which is, oh, we create another Polish zloty in crypto. Why would you do that? For fuck's sake. Yeah. There is different use, not only the payment function, right? Yeah. And this is the problem also which comes from actually universities in Poland, yeah? And all those doctors, oh, we will create another Polish zloty on chain. Why? Why? Do you even have ability to answer why? And not really, yeah? There is only like create just to create. So that is the big area which requires kind of like, let's say, getting people to know what the blockchain is about. It's associated with crypto, but behind that is the whole technology, which brings actually much more value than only transfer of value in the end. So it is actually a big space in here. Much better looks actually our Eastern neighbors. They are much better familiarized with this. So I'd say. In Poland, still greenfield.
Yeah, that's really good, because I would like to promote the space here, and I know there are people that are just so quiet. Sometimes someone send me private message on Twitter in Polish, and I'm like, I didn't know this person is actually from here. You mentioned Estonia, and I'd love Poland to be more like this, because Estonia is known as this tech hub. Are the blockchain laws because I don't know where your company is registered, are the blockchain laws in Poland are okay to run the blockchain company here, or is rather difficult? Not sure if you know.
Well, in Poland, to be fairly honest, we got very convenient tax regulations around crypto. They're not ripping you too much if you transfer actually crypto to fiat. In terms of running blockchain company, I would actually go to Estonia if that is required, because that's much better place. They got for regulation that company can operate actually crypto assets, and that is not a problem from the regulatory perspective. In Poland, as it is, we don't have clear. Well, we have regulations which say that crypto is considered as an investment, financial investment, but there is no other regulations around that, which is much better actually created in Estonia at that stage. So definitely Estonia would be the best place to go.
because I knew like in Poland you actually don't income is not taxed as long as you convert your crypto to fiat,
Yes.
which for some people could be great, but it doesn't have the clear path how to move forward. Also,
Hmm.
like I was, because I was in Prague and I was like, why we don't do this sort of event in Poland? Because I view, Prague is nice and so, but from the economical perspective and human perspective, like Poland would seem to be more attractive place to attract new developers, because the community of developers is bigger than the community in Czech Republic or something. That was just my thought, but like it's sad because I barely see any events in Poland or Warsaw
Hmm.
regarding the uh blockchain.
Yeah.
I think you need to get out there and just go to other
Yeah.
conferences, mate, and just get chatting to people. I was blown away by the engagement I got going just down to London and
Hmm.
meeting even people in the Ethereum ecosystem. They all have total respect for each other. You know, they're all
Yeah.
developers. They're all building stuff. You know, we're all part of this one big movement. So you know, and it's like sharing information about. And I think if you've done that in any sort of blockchain conference and anywhere in Europe, you know, and just explain to them, you know, like would love to do something in Poland, and you could get it going. You really could create your own little thing. It's not a bad
Hmm.
idea at all, especially if you think your country needs it or there's interest. Then yeah, flutter
Yeah.
out, but start small. You know, don't fucking go
I
big on it. You know, like maybe start with 100 people, just see how you get on.
I do think I will start a channel, like maybe like not as frequent, but introducing the Cosmos ecosystem and Juno. There is not really great high quality content, so I think that would help, maybe like bring just some interest.
We hope we can help with that in terms
Yeah.
of like going back to like the history of Juno, and you know the website's great. It's got some good stuff on it, the Juno website, and
Hmm.
we'll try our best to just try and go back to the basics of, you know,
Hmm.
there is good guides out there of how to set up wallets and stuff, but you know the technology moves so fast. It also needs maintained as well. You know, it's nice to write guides, but also it takes a while to and a lot of
Uh huh.
effort to maintain those guides as well. You know,
Uh huh. Um. So, Simon, I I wonder if you would have time. I'm happy to pay you for your time to educate my friend on the basics of validating and introducing maybe him to the materials he could learn in Polish, because he's not very native in English. So
Hmm.
I wonder if we could connect this way. So I could introduce him to the right person, maybe if you have
Okay.
time. Like as I said, I'm happy to pay for the lessons on hourly basis on anything, because kind of priority for me, because I'm getting some shit for being white label validator, And
Oh no, we can definitely help you. No problem.
I will reach you, guys. Like we going for close to 2 hours. Is there anything that you want to pass? That's something maybe I didn't touch, and but like the mission you have, or something we missed, we didn't say about what you're doing.
well, it's just like keep an eye on our finished sort of infrastructure. Once we will, you know, all we ask at the moment is just follow us on the socials, so at least you have a line on what we're up to.
Hmm.
And it's not only like Eve Moss, Kajira, Juno, Sentinel. We're all doing different things for these chains, and the academy sort of covers all of the chains as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, just
Hmm.
keep an eye on the Twitter and all that kind of thing. Telegram group, we've got our own little channel there as well. And yeah, we'll just sort of drip feed little announcements of
Hmm.
what we've released and stuff and keep people interested that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it, really, mate. And really appreciate you setting up the call and putting your
Yeah.
pink headphones on for me and all that. And yeah, so
It was long
brilliant.
too. We should probably speak a long
Yeah,
time
it
ago.
was. Yeah, yeah, you do.
Uh, Actually, the reason why I'm finishing this, I need to go on Twitter to fix the mess I've caused.
I'm going to go and watch.
Shit hit the fan.
You know, like it just my tweet just didn't land.
Excuse me.
It just didn't land. Jacob already recorded 3 videos on his phone in response.
Oh, really?
It's Liam
Okay,
Crypto validator. Liam Crypto influencer got engaged. He left the tweet. I have felt this way. Maybe less of the fuck you about many interviews I was unable to get on the channel, whilst many were going to the Cito channel. I wasn't serious. I wasn't serious. I wasn't.
One of these days. Oh well.
It was. I shouldn't use the word fuck you. I should probably play it something like we want to be friends. I'm gonna befriend other people or stuff like this. And but I hate removing my tweets because I believe it's bad look. And
as I said, like people get and I think it'll just be more of it's a laugh to me now, So there's an example. I find it funny now, so I won't worry about it.
I think because there's no context. The context is I sent the message to Jake Hartnell, I think in November 2021. Then I met Jake Hartnell in Prague and I said, I tried to get the interview. And he said, we're gonna get the interview. Then he did interview in Liam, the confident in crypto. And then he sent me then I blamed him again. And he come to my DM and said, I promise you we will do. And now I see him going. So I said, fuck you. But this is the context that there is, right? It's not like I love Jake. I love to talk to him. He's like the nicest guy. And this just didn't land it. But
he'll be sleeping now, though, won't he, mate? He's South San Francisco, so he'll be probably in his bed.
And I sleep at night.
They wake up and be like, "What the fuck?"
Maybe he was sleeping my DMs. I promise, we're gonna do it soon. But maybe I should remove the tweet before he wakes up, so he will be even more confused. What the hell happened?
Too late, mate. What's done is done. Just think of it. It's like the blockchain. Once it's done, it can't be erased.
I have some enemies, like the people who always appear when there's something against Dawn, and they came and they're like, oh, we learned that the Dawn is naked, right? Like the real face of the Dawn. So like every single time it's the same.
You seem a nice guy, mate. All good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm in person. I'm like a sheep. I'm not that dangerous guy, but that's I think I'm like the headphones, right? Like very soft. So with that, like really thank you for the chat. I think we covered a lot. I think people also learned about like the great job that you are doing here, and giving the good face to Juno, providing the great infrastructure. So for that, it's thank you for making Juno awesome. And I guess till the next time we speak, right? Because it's probably not the last time.
We'll do an update on what we're doing. If once we get our applications and stuff like that out and little useful tools, we can catch up again, and you can do a follow up anytime. Just we'll sort it out. No problem, Don.
I love that. Okay, thank you.
All right,
take care.
Nice one.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye, everybody. Cheers.